Hey, I don't know if we're so lazy as creative.
That's it. We're
So here's
creative.
the deal. We need you to like, subscribe, and follow this very creative show.
And witty.
Yeah, let's stick with creative. The good news being we're not nearly creative enough to do half the stupid stuff that we find. So if you would, like, subscribe, and follow This Is Truly News, we would be your pals, your friends, your buds forever. If you don't, you'll be our arch enemies, and you don't want that.
Because
So, a lot
stuff
like being-
happens.
A lot like being Sheldon's arch enemy.
No.
Yeah, it really doesn't take up much of your time. Like, subscribe, and follow. If you find a news story you think that would be fun for us, you can send it off to TITR@netradio.net. Work.
There.
And I didn't even have to read it this time.
This is True, Really News with Scott Combs and Tony Vercanis. All the news you're about to hear is true,
Really?
as far as you know.
You know what is actually getting to me just a little bit these days is I cannot believe the number of times we have showed up lately wearing this likely the same color or very close to the same
Well, actually,
color.
I looked at what you were wearing, and then you see,
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah. So I put a sweatshirt over it because it's like, this is just wrong.
You did seriously?
No,
I didn't think so. It's just
I've been
odd.
wearing
We've
this
been
shirt for
showing-
7 days, and I thought, well,
We've been showing up in the
why
same
take it off now?
sort of maroon things.
Must be connected.
It's just in any case, worst
I'm sorry. What were you doing?
worst interviews ever from Reddit.
Uh-oh.
I was being
Did you
interviewed.
clean these up at all?
This one I didn't have to.
Okay, good.
I was being interviewed for a business analyst position, and the interview was already strange. They had me waiting for 40 minutes, and then the interview was done by two people. One asked, if you could be an animal, what would it be?
That's easy. I'd be a platypus.
Why?
Well, because I get to be part duck, part beaver.
And there's nothing better than the old beaver duck.
I prefer to call it a ducker.
Mm.
Make of that what you will.
Buck.
That would be my name.
Now, I believe this to be an extremely odd question for such a role, and I responded I wasn't sure how my connection with an animal would apply to this job. So this is in the tech industry. You know, it's the guys on the tech side. You see.
So he's being interviewed by what?
Yeah,
Two 12-year-olds.
yeah, likely. Well, yeah, in HR.
Mhm.
Further into the interview, I was further into the interview.
Hang
I
on,
was
there you go.
asked
Attaboy.
the difference between a data scientist and a data analyst. And I gave the most textbook answer I could, said I'd consider a data analyst like a nurse and a data scientist like a doctor. The analyst will have lots of experience with front-end analysis and observation,
Oh, so he's a urologist.
while the scientist will be more adept with an in-depth, wise predictions, etc., which is why one is paid 2 to 3 times more than the other. The woman who asked stated how extremely offended she was at my statement and rambled on for about 5 minutes. At this point, I stood up and said, thanks for your time. I'm going to pursue other options where the people are less crazy.
Oh, and good luck with that. See, because while you're trying to put your best foot forward, they're trying to hide their crazy too. Just saying.
Yeah, well, that lady didn't hide it very well.
The good news is Brain is back.
Grain is back?
The bad news is Pinky isn't.
Oh, the brain is back.
Yeah, Brain.
Yeah.
Bu-bu-bu-bu.
Pinky,
Police
I shall
said
have
that-
to hurt you.
Police said that one of 2 porcupines that went missing last week from a zoo in central Germany has somehow found its way back home. I'm guessing he called an Uber. It's Germany.
It's German. So
Yep. State police in Saxony-Anhalt had called for the public to keep an eye out for the 2 Indian-crested porcupines. One's called Pinky, one's called the Brain. Can you guess what they were named after? Uh-huh. They were a pair. I just suppose they sit up and I going, what are we going to do tonight, Brain?
We're going to puncture something.
Anything we can find. After they were stolen apparently from an animal park in the town of Thale. German news agency DPA quoted police as saying the exact circumstances of their disappearance were still being investigated. See, Pinky and the Brain never got in that kind of trouble. But there was no way, they said, the porcupines could have escaped on their own. Yeah, that's what the scientists said about Pinky and the Brain, too. Police also expressed hope that Pinky might be found soon after a hiker reported seeing the animal about 10 kilometers from the zoo. How do you know that was Pinky?
Well, maybe it was the way he talked.
That could be.
Brian.
That could be. And he was the tall, slender of the two. That'd be a dead giveaway.
Zork.
And his vocabulary was odd. So maybe they are going to take over the world.
Yeah, well, I can hardly wait.
One quill at a time.
From Reason.com, Brickbat file.
If you could find a porcupine at night, would that be a night quill?
I'm just going to
ignore that. Carry on. Yeah.
Cuebeck business leaders say a new law. What?
Did they say it in French?
That's what I'm trying to do.
Really?
Yeah. How'd I do?
Well, you did okay.
Quebec? What?
Quebec.
Fine. Quebec business leaders.
The only place snootier than the United States? Quebec.
Right. And you're about to find out how much snootier.
Or Paris.
Business leaders over
London.
In Quebekistan
Vlad's
say
house.
a new law that requires many companies to use the French language will increase costs and could make it harder to serve clients. Bill 96 requires firms with more than 25 employees to conduct business primarily in French.
Sounds like a name someone's going to have in the future.
And to make sure other languages are spoken in the workplace as little as possible.
I'm Bill 96. You?
The law
Bill 71.
The law also mandates that contracts be in French, even if both parties would prefer another language.
Hang on, where would that on a penny meter of 1 to 10? Would that be like a 12?
I think it would at least 58. Firms would have to justify to regulators if they recruit employees who speak a language other than French. Companies that violate the law face fines of up to 30,000 Canadian dollars. That's 22,500 US. This is stupid. Never should have gone anywhere. Someone needs to challenge it and get it thrown out. This is stupid. Talk about intrusive.
Well, see, what you're trying to do is limit the immigration population from working.
Is that what they're trying to do?
Sure. Trust me on this.
I think Quebec is just gearing up for another run at secession.
Or forcing the rest of the country to speak Frenchish.
Yeah, and that ain't going to happen.
No, sorry. All right, as long as I've got vermin on my mind, badgers burrowing under rail tracks have halted trains in the northern and southern Netherlands, forcing lengthy cancellations on at least 2 of the lines.
They've got badgers in their nether regions?
They do. And you don't want badgers there. All trains were, he's pretty proud of yourself right there, aren't you?
Yeah, okay. I saw that and I just took it.
All trains were halted last week on a busy line between the southern cities of Den Bosch and Boxtel after the animals dug into a dike carrying the rails. Yep, I knew you were going to have that. Don't. The National Railway Company said that the line would be out of service for at least a week. The digging means, got by that. According to ProRail, the company that maintains the Dutch rail network, they said the digging means the rails can subside and then the safety of train traffic can no longer be guaranteed.
Yep.
Earlier this month, badgers also burrowed under tracks near the northern village of Malkverm in Friesland, knocking out a line of service until next month while workers seek permission to shift the animals. Why?
Because they're protected.
They are. Badgers are protected animals in the Netherlands. So rail operators have to get permission to move them or disturb their habitat before we're supposed to have to call in and say, listen, we're about to run over a badger. Can we do that? John Vopin, the CEO of ProRail, the company maintaining those railroads, appealed for a speeding up of the procedures, though.
Could you hurry up? We got people to move.
We're trying to get people from A to B, please.
And then, of course, the rail people that have to give permission said, stop badgering us.
And I so understand why it's slow, because he also added, we are, of course, in urgent consultation with the Ministry of Infrastructure and Water Management about this, because let's be honest, government slows things up no matter where they are.
This is also true.
ProRail says that badgers like digging into the steep sides of earthen dikes that carry many of the Dutch train tracks, which causes the tracks to, well, weaken. And tracks go boom, train goes boom, people, it's not pretty. The company said on its website, living together with badgers can be a real puzzle. As a Minnesotan, I think all Gopher fans understand that. Yeah, but as the three amigos say, why are they on the endangered list? Because we don't need no stinking badgers.
This is true, really news. Send email to TITR@netradio.network.